Hello my friends, and welcome back to another watercolor tutorial. Today we are getting into Easter tutorials, and this is going to be a very simple one. I've just pre-written Happy Easter onto my piece of paper, and the Easter word is going to overlap some eggs, and we're just going to be painting 4 cute eggs. And so first I'm going to just take a pencil and sketch out those eggs. So I'm going to start with the 2 middle ones, just to make sure I have my center here. So I've been doing this channel for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years now. And it's really becoming increasingly difficult to find new things to paint for holidays, because for Christmas I paint a lot more videos. Like I'll do a whole month basically of just Christmas tutorials. But Easter and Valentine's Day I'll do like between 2 and 4. And you really start to run out of ideas on what to paint. So it feels like I've done eggs many times. It's probably because I have, but I always try to put a little spin on them so they're not identical to previous eggs that I've painted. So I'm just gonna modify this one a bit. Where's my eraser? There we go. So this is my second tutorial back from my 8-month sabbatical, if that's what I'm gonna call it. In my last video, I was really struggling because there were so many things. I was in a completely new setup, like a new environment with new lighting, new everything. And so I was really having a hard time trying to figure everything out. And I looked back on that video and the lighting was really not great. So we kind of came up with something a little bit different. And I think this lighting works a lot better, though I can still see my shadow. I'll see what it looks like when I play it back. I'm being a little bit picky here with the shape of my eggs. You do not have to be this picky, but that should be okay for now. Now, in an ideal world, I would want to erase these pencil lines so they're not so visible. So let's just go ahead and do that. So very lightly erasing. So it's just light enough for me to see, but it won't show through the paper. Now, I've really polluted this piece of paper. The lead from the pencil has really clouded over, but maybe at the end I can just do like a final erase once everything is dry, but we're just gonna go along with this for now. So I'm gonna grab a paintbrush here. I just realized I used this paintbrush to paint something with acrylic paint earlier, and I totally forgot to rinse that acrylic paint from my watercolor brush, so it kind of dried onto my paintbrush. That is not good, because this is a brush that I use in every single video. I think I cleaned it up. Okay, so I'm gonna just do 4 different colored eggs here, but the difference between all my other egg tutorials are these are gonna be like, they look like robin eggs, but they won't be blue, they'll be different colors. So I'll start with a salmon pink color. Or I'll mix my own, so I'll take a little bit of pink and then a little bit of a peachy color. Mix those together. I want these to be very pastel-like. And we'll just paint the egg, like paint the outline. Oh no, did I paint? Sometimes I can't tell if I'm painting the wrong side of the piece of paper. And because I've erased the heck out of this piece of paper, it doesn't really behave in the same way that I'm used to. So once again, I am very out of practice, but we will get back into it. So in case you didn't watch my recent video, or you were just so appalled by the lighting quality, we built a new house. So we bulldozed our previous home and we built a new house in its place. And that's why I pre-filmed so many months worth of content, so I wouldn't have to worry about painting while all that was going on. And I'm so glad I had the foresight. I mainly did it because I didn't think I'd have the proper lighting and the proper environment. But it ended up being very handy for other reasons because I spent so much time at the build itself, like actually doing work, that I don't know how I would be able to paint with all of that going on. So as you just saw, I lifted a little bit of paint off and I'm just adding a little bit of more pigment back in on one side because I want it to be this gradient. I'm gonna even like just drop some dots of color in there. And I also apologize for my voice, but I've been getting over some kind of sickness for the last week and a half. And when I'm not talking, it's fine, but because I have to talk through a tutorial, I have to clear my throat a lot. Okay, while that is waiting for, while we are waiting for this egg to dry, I'm just gonna move on to the next one because we're at the end, we're gonna do the same specklage pattern to all of them. So we'll just move on to the next one. So for the next color, you can choose like a bluish violet or just a blue. It doesn't really matter. You could do baby blue, you could do sky blue. I don't know the names of my colors. I threw out the name card. So when people ask me to include the exact color names, I don't know what they are. I just take whatever blue I see first half the time. So just roughly following the same shape that I penciled out for myself. The other thing with this setup, this new setup of mine, is so like I said, I was really struggling with the lighting. And I was trying, like first I bought one ring light and that wasn't bright enough. And then I bought a second ring light and it was the same problem. And I tried using both of them at the same time and that still wasn't bright enough. So then I bought a like 2100 lumen light bulb with like a standing lamp, and that was still like, it was too bright but not bright enough. I'm not really sure how else to describe it. I ended up keeping one of the ring lights because it holds the phone that I use to film. And the issue is that it's a lot higher up than my previous stand was, and so it's not as easy to see if my painting is even on the screen. I wish there was like a some kind of signal you guys could give me. But obviously, this isn't in real time. Speaking of that, I am thinking, I've mentioned this before in other videos, but now I'm seriously considering it, doing a membership on YouTube where I release an extra tutorial a week. So if you're a member, instead of getting just the regular 2 tutorials a week that are available to everyone, you would get a third one that is exclusive to this subscription model. And like I said, I have mentioned this before. I even put out a poll and there was a fair amount of interest where it would be worth my while. So I'm seriously considering starting to do that maybe in April, depending on how other life things evolve, because I'm not sure what's going on with YouTube, or maybe, you know what, it might be me, but the revenue that I generate through this channel has been decreasing. On like when I compare month to month from year to year, from this year to last year, every month it's been a little bit less than last year, which is not great for growth. And so I think it is because I have almost completely stopped engaging in the comments section and watching my own videos. So what I would do for SEO, which is search engine optimization, is I would, when my video was released, I would like just set my own video to play once, and then I would comment like on my own video, and then I would respond to every single comment that was posted on that video and on every single video. Like I would dedicate maybe 10 minutes every day to doing that and staying kind of up to date with the comments. And with the house build, I completely stopped doing that. So my channel was basically in ghost mode for at least half a year, where videos were being uploaded and I would respond to the very odd comment, and that might be why the algorithm saw it as not receiving the same amount of engagement as my videos usually do, because it had like half the amount of comments since all of my replies were missing. So that's probably why my engagement has gone down and therefore my revenue, but that just cannot be, because this is my job, and just like any job, you sometimes don't like you do your job because you need to make money. I don't know very many people that would continue working at their job if they weren't getting paid. I even had a comment on a video recently that said, I think it's extremely sad that you only paint for money, or something like that. And I read that comment and I had this really, I wanted to respond something in particular, because that comment really triggered something in me, but I ended up not responding because it's just not worth my time engaging in conversations like that. But seriously, if you were not paid a single cent for your job, would you continue working at that job? I would continue painting sometimes, once in a blue moon. No, I would paint for fun sometimes, but I certainly wouldn't paint, sit down, and when I'm exhausted after a day of chasing my toddler, I wouldn't sit down twice a week and film a tutorial and then spend another few hours editing, uploading, SEOing, and then responding to comments for nothing in return. And I did that. I did that for like at least 2 or 3 years before I started generating any revenue on this channel, because I had the goal in mind that eventually there would be revenue and it would be like passive income. So anyway, all that is to say, I'm seriously thinking of doing that subscription model, possibly launching it in April. And I mean, if worst comes to worst and I get like no interest in it, it won't be a loss, because then I can take those videos and just move them to my, like re-upload them onto my regular channel and just release them that way, and then I won't have to paint for a few weeks. So that's the plan. That is the plan. It's just life is a little bit busy at the moment. When this, I'm again pre-painting for the month of, it's mid-March, mid to end of March right now, and I'm pre-painting for April because we're going away to a wedding in Europe, and obviously I won't be available to paint, so that is what I'm doing. Okay, I'm happy with these color choices. I kind of wanted to do a yellow, but somehow that just, I don't know where that idea went. And I actually forgot to do like these speckles on the other eggs, like dropping little dots. So those, as this is wet, right? So I dropped more pigment onto a wet egg to give these little spots. But we will now add, once these are completely dry, we'll just add black speckles, and then it'll look more like a robin egg. But let's let this dry. Okay, so these are dry. What am I looking for here? Now we're gonna apply those black specks that I was talking about. So brown actually might be better now that I think about it, because I think the specks are actually brown on robin eggs. So I took brown and mixed it in with my black, and now it's like a dark brown. Now there's a few ways you can go about it. You can manually apply your dots, or you can do like the tapping your brush and just letting the speckles go wild. And though I'm tempted to do that, I don't want the specks to go off of the eggs in the white space. So I'm going to do my best to try and make these speckles look as natural as possible, as if I did do that. Making sure some are big, some are small, like the grouping of them is sporadic, rather than like putting every single one 1/4 inch apart. So something like that. I really am sorry about my voice. Just feels like there is something I cannot clear no matter how much I tried to clear my throat. So I'll just leave the red one the way it is there. I'm happy with that. And try to not make them identical. Try to make your patterns all a little bit different so that it does look more natural. So another thing, when I used to paint in our old house in the bathroom, when we were in the house, we only heated with wood. So when I would close the bathroom door, it would get really cold in there because obviously there was no way that the warm air from the wood stove could get in there. And I was just reminded of that because I heard the heating go on. I'm like, oh, I don't have to throw a block of wood on the fire to keep this place warm. I can close doors and not worry about air circulation problems. It's so funny, the things that people live with on a normal, like it's just normal to them, but to us it's like, oh, a novelty. Automatic heating. And then the last one here. Okay. So I'm pretty content with that, I believe. So now that our eggs are basically complete, you could make this a little bit cuter if you wish. You can have the eggs hanging with a bow. So you would just either paint or draw a black line with like a pen or a fine tip marker that extends to the top of your piece of paper. And then you could add a little bow either at the base of the egg where the string meets the egg, or you could have the bow at the top where it meets the top of the piece of paper. I may or may not still do that, but first I'm gonna just write the Happy Easter. So that at least we have that in place. Can you see what I'm doing? Oh, it says low battery, but I can't click the OK button because the phone mount is in the way. I hope it's still recording. I hope you can even see this. So I just traced the Happy Easter because my calligraphy is not beautiful. I usually do hand write it, but this time I was like, this is a pretty basic looking card, like it's just eggs. So I'd rather have fancy writing to go along with it. I can't even see what I've done here. Oops, I went in way too shallow with that. Okay. So it's something is missing for me here. I can't quite put my finger on it, but and I'm a little bit nervous to change anything because it's easy to mess these things up. I'm trying to make some of these a little bit thicker. Like the left side of each letter. Hey, that looks not too bad. I'm happy with that. Going to chance it and do the same thing with the happy. There we go. Okay. Another thing I'm going to do, just to define those letters a little bit more, is pull out my handy dandy white acrylic paint and just add a little white outline on the inside of the letter that overlaps with each egg, if that makes any sense. I hope my head isn't in the shot because I can't see what I'm filming because there's a what do you call it? A notification in the way that says my battery's low, and I can't click out of it like I normally would because the mount that holds the phone in place is in the way of that portion of the screen. I really like the white. It kind of helps separate the letters from the egg since the specks are also black, which makes me wonder, should I add some white speckles on the eggs just to spruce things up a little bit? Or would I just be overdoing it? So I've been sick 3 times this year, and it's only been 2.5 months in this year. And I think it's because, well, one, it's like I finally was able to just breathe after being tense and stressed for 6 months during our house build. So my immune system is like, oh my gosh, finally I can like work with something here. And then combine that with being around a lot more children than I'm usually around because I started taking my toddler to various social functions. It's just been, my immune system has been abused. But it's almost April, and that means that winter is almost over. In fact, the first day of spring is in like 2 days, I think. So we are way closer to warm weather than we are to blizzard and snow. Like we actually had I think it was like 16 degrees yesterday. So much snow melted, which was wonderful. But we always, because we're in a forest and we're on like I wouldn't call it a mountain, but that's what the name is. We're on a hill. The snow melts a lot slower than it does in town. So the snow is basically melted in town, but here we still have like at least 15 centimeters in like refrozen ice, because it was 16 degrees Celsius and then it got cold again overnight. But yeah, I just erased the pencil marks that were left over there. This tutorial took way longer than this really simple card would demand, but I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I hope the lighting was better in this video. Everything went a lot smoother for me. So let me know what you think in the comments. Let me know what you think about the subscription thing that I talked about, and I will see you in the next tutorial.